I am an elder, I'm a statesman. I should have an opinion on what affects my state, particularly when it has to do with the well-being of my generation and the generation after me. I am not taking sides, okay? I'm not standing with anybody. But what I'm saying is that the man who is governor now, whether you like him or not, he is the governor. Whether you agree or not, he is the governor. Allow him to work. Allow him, let him, those things which you didn't take while you were in office, those things which you didn't accommodate, you didn't stomach when you were in office, don't bring it down to the man who is there now. Leave him to work. We're talking about 6 months, or less than 6 months, Abi. What has happened that all of a sudden we are not talking about how to create employment? We're not talking about how we can invest in agriculture. We're not talking about how we're going to invest in tourism. We're not talking about how we're going to take on insecurity headlong. We're not talking about how we can, given our own situation in Rivers State, use our resources and opportunities and potentials to develop our economy and grow our GDP. We are talking about structure and talking about fighting over, impeachment and no impeachment. No. In 2023, no. Who impeachment help? Who does this fight? Who is going to help?
The minister says impeachment is a constitutional tool, and if they choose,
it's a constitutional tool, not to be used, not to be abused, not to be abused. The offense for impeachment in the Constitution and according to case law is gross misconduct that is apparent to everybody, gross misconduct. And then it's not when a particular desire is not serviced and then we get up and say impeachment because it's a constitutional. No.
Is there any idea what this desire would be? Because that is the
desire is control. To control, to make sure that you remain in charge. That's what the reference to structure is all about. And who does that? Which of us will want to be governor, okay, at any particular point in time, and then your predecessor comes, to breathe down your spine, and then you let it go? No, now nobody who does that. Nobody will accept that.
But is that a possibility that perhaps there must have been an agreement and understanding prior to this time? Because many people also said, the governor has said, when I was fighting the former governor, these people that are talking now, they were not there, implying the fact that he had worked to ensure that the governor now emerged at the time he was a candidate going into the elections. We'll get your response to this. We have a short commercial coming, so we'll just hold on to that thought. And also, we'll need to get clarity on the situation with the APC as well, now that we have you here, especially with the leadership of the party in Rivers State. Is there a divide in the APC? Who is the leader of the APC? As we know, we have the Chieftain Okocha's own part saying it is in charge, and we know that the former transportation minister has been in charge. So has there been a change? What is the situation? We'll find out after this very short commercial. Send in your questions and responses to us on WhatsApp 0809 030 6416. We will be back. let's get back into it. You can join us on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. My guest is Chief Ezemonye Ezekiel Amadi. Is an elder statesman in Rivers State, well sound politically, former commissioner lands and survey under the Rotimi Amechi, His Excellency's administration, and is a chieftain of the APC as well. Several questions have been asked and responses have been given. The conversation still continues, but then you can go on Facebook and talk to us. What is this political structure? And do you think that this structure, in quote, is needed if we must ensure development? Share your thoughts and opinions with us. You've been listening and you might have questions or responses that you'd want to give to any of the things that's been said so far. Use the WhatsApp number 0809 030 6416. Let me get back to my guests in the studio. So we were at a place where we were before the commercial, and we were trying to talk about the situation, the structural situation in Rivers State and all, and getting the understanding of what is happening in Rivers State and in the APC. So I'd like us to talk about that. For many people, we do not have any opposition in Rivers State. Is this correct?
I think that it won't be wrong to say that the opposition here has been completely decimated, especially since after May 29th. What I don't know is if that's deliberate or it's coincidence. But really, if anybody says there is no opposition in Rivers State, then the person is not far from the truth.
I heard the former transport minister, which was also former governor of Rivers State, saying he's tired of talking, because it was at the book launch where he said, tired of talking because Nigerians would not, you talk and nothing is changing. They're still there. And for a leader, many would look at that message to be one of almost saying you give up. For some people, it would have that tone to it. In Rivers State, is he still the leader of the APC? Or do we have another? Because Chieftain has also come out to say he's the leader of the APC. In fact, there have been talks that the FCT minister was even supposed to be part of some of the council committee, APC, whatever that was set up. And that has brought about a lot of conversation, saying he could even be the leader of the party in Rivers State. He's
not a member of the APC.
But then these are all rumors, like I've said, flying around. We need to have facts. There are people who have said it. Tony Okocha is one who have said it, that if he... So what is your opinion? Who is the leader of the APC in Rivers State and in the...
First of all, let me start with what the former transport minister said at the book launch. Some people could interpret that to mean I have given up. But for some who are more discerning, it could be a way of getting people to get up. Let us prove him wrong. He said, according to him, I have been talking and nobody is listening. Nigerians are not reacting. So, having said that, Nigerians could decide to prove him wrong and then react. So he could have said that to excite some activity, on the part of Nigerians, some reaction on the part of Nigerians. I know some people could interpret it to mean that it's giving up, but I don't think that's the intention, to give up. I think the intention was to spur Nigerians to get up, prove him wrong, and have some reaction. Now, having said that, I'm really hesitant to believe that Tony Okocha could have said at any point in time that he is the leader of APC in Rivers State.
He has.
I'm slow to believe.
He had even said during the elections, he was the one who held the party together.
Who?
There were even reports that
himself.
Yes, there were even reports that the APC in Rivers State supported the PDP presidential candidate. Those are reports that are unconfirmed, just like we also have reports unconfirmed that the PDP, I would say confirmed because we clearly heard the governor of Rivers State at the time, former governor now, at the time say he's supporting a South presidential candidate who turned out to be your party's presidential candidate. So it's a lot of confusion in this.
The who is the leader of the party is not dependent on who the party supported at the election or not. Now, let me surprise you. The constitution of APC, the one I know and the one I have read, does not have any provision for leader, an office called leader of the party. I stand to be controverted. Let anyone who has the provision for leader of the party in the APC constitution challenge me.
So how do then?
It's a loose arrangement. There has to be a figure that naturally loyalty and membership will gravitate towards.
It has nothing to do with the most senior member of the party in the sense of positions and other accolades.
Usually, because of our own custom. Okay, not politics now. Even from our various tribes and communities.
Yeah.
Based on that custom, it is natural that you will look up to somebody who is occupying some position. Naturally. Somebody who is occupying some position. Somebody who has a great measure of visibility outside your immediate environment. Because you are expecting that this is the person that will attract benefits to you and to the membership of the party. Okay? So naturally, that person is looked up to as the leader. More so, if the person is able to dispense favors, he or she will be looked up to as a leader. But there is no provision in the constitution of APC. I am talking specifically about APC. There is no provision in the constitution of the APC for the position of leader.
In other words, there's no sort of election or nomination or whatever to say, okay, you are going to be our leader.
Nothing like that.
All right.
It's not there.
So what is the situation with the former transportation minister who has been seen as the leader of the party?
Yes.
And now Chieftain Okocha saying that he fits the position as leader of the party after the recent elections.
On what basis is Tony Okocha laying claim to being the leader of the party? On what basis? That he has he just been appointed state rep
to the NDDC
of NDDC recently. Is that what makes him the leader of the party?
Well, he would say because I held the party together, I was there to mobilize, support the president, and he won the election.
What he has is an appointment. If I am a member, if I'm appointed into the Constitution Drafting Committee, for instance, of the APC, and then we are given the mandate to provide for the position of leader in the Constitution, I would go for somebody who occupies an elective office, because it means that person came from the people, was voted for. It's not somebody who has an appointment as a state rep of NDDC. Then you come and say you are leader of the party. How will that happen? You're going to lead somebody who is, for instance, who is in the House of Assembly. You're going to lead somebody who is in the House of Reps. You're going to lead somebody who is a senator because you are state rep, or because of what? Or
maybe because
you are a former appointee.
They were active in the elections, supporting the presidential candidate of the party.
The truth is that such clamor is only self-serving. You know our people love positions, we love offices a lot. So I mean, everybody wants to carve out a position for himself or herself. But I'm telling you that there is no position of leader in the party constitution. I stand to be challenged. So anybody who is running around claiming I'm leader, it's of no moment.
Then what is the situation between the leadership of the party in the state and the national? At the national level, we don't seem to see any sort of communication whatsoever. In fact, it's as bad as the national leadership of the party withdrawing from the tribunal case involving the candidates.
Tell me what I saw myself.
So what is happening? Is there a disconnect, or is it that the state level is not carried along? What is happening?
Well, let me tell you what's happening. What's happening is that there is a new model of politics that has been introduced with this election year. A new model of politics. And that model is, you can be in party A and hold office in party B, in the government of party B. Right? You can be in party C and come out and fully support a candidate of party E. Is a new model. This is slowly eroding party loyalty. It is slowly eroding party loyalty and party supremacy.
But people question that
because now we have precedents.
In party loyalty, there are issues or times where what the party is presenting or doing is completely out of place. Would you say a person remains loyal regardless?
Well, but that's the kind of democracy, in our circle we refer to it as guided democracy. That is one of the tenets of the kind of democracy, the variant of democracy that we have been practicing. Guided democracy. It's part of you. You have to remain there. Like my people say, if you go to your palm tree, whatever you get there, you can't pour it away. You must drink it. So your party is not, is presenting the wrong candidate and all that. You make your feelings known. You make your feelings known about it. But party supremacy and party sovereignty dictates that you cannot work against your party.
But then that brings us to what we have talked about in regards to, in quote, the structure and how many are reacting to this, and some of the things you've said with regards to why the minister of the FCT had said some things he said. Because if we go back to Magnus Abe's time in the party and what led to him leaving the party, it also had to do with party supremacy. This is what the party said they want, and we are not allowed to have our right to freely express ourselves to, and all of this begins to happen, and everybody has to be loyal to who was seen as a leader, who at the time was the former transport minister. So don't we see a problem with that? And don't forget that many have also said that because a party won an election does not mean that you cannot see people who can do a good job in the opposition and carry them along. This is a message that has been preached for a long time.
Has it happened before?
But it's happening now. How is it a bad thing that it's happening now? Is what we don't understand.
It's a different thing if you bring those we refer to as technocrats, those who
are in the party.
Those who are not in the party,
okay,
but they excel in their different fields and profession. You can bring them in, to support and help the government to deliver.
But you don't think you can bring someone who is in another political party?
When you brazenly, in the afternoon, in broad daylight, you go pick somebody who is in another party, while the person is still in that party. There is no precedent. I want to know.
What if the person is the person who has solutions to what I want to do, and the problem we're facing, and I think that individual can solve it? After all, politicians always say, after elections comes governance, and party stops. Now let's focus on governance. So everybody come together.
That's in an ideal situation.
But if you're saying now that we can't do this, then what is the meaning of after an election and somebody wins and all, they say we extend the olive branch, everybody come, let's work together. How would that then happen?
That is in an ideal situation. Has it ever worked? You are here, you've been in Nigeria. Has it ever worked? Those are rhetorics. I must tell you. Has it ever worked? Olive branch. To who? To members of your political party or those are
the oppositions that perhaps contested with you and lost.
Has it happened before? Has it happened? Let this person who is good, so intelligent, so smart, that he can proffer solutions to all our problems. Why doesn't he join? Because listen, every party is supposed to be governed by an ideology. Every party has a manifesto. In this situation, forget what we're doing here. Here it is a matter of our ideology. Our manifesto is stomach infrastructure. But in an ideal situation where there is ideology, where there is manifesto, the person you are going to put there has to be the person that understands the party manifesto, the party ideology, lives it, sleeps it, eats it, and want to implement it.
So you're saying the same way we have a thin line, a solid line between Democrats and Republicans because they share the same different ideologies.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what we should have.
That's what it should be. You should look at a party's manifesto and ideology. I met a little bit of it in those days of. I was quite young then. In those days of MPN Action Group and all that, they had what could pass as party manifesto. We knew that this group were the conservatives, this group the progressives. As young as I was then, as a student in the university, we saw all that. Today there is nothing, absolutely nothing like that. So we don't have an ideal situation now.
So the olive branch that the governor of Rivers State had spoken about cannot work because many have even questioned the appointment. Some say as much as the commissioners that were appointed, this was also something that was reported by High Chief Anab Saraigbe.
Yes.
He made that comment too, saying most of the commissioners appointed now were not appointed by the governor of Rivers State. He only had one slot, but then the FCT minister was behind all of them. And if that is the case, the idea that we talked about, the olive branch, you think it would never work?
Is it working now? If it's working, well, then why are we having the tension in Rivers State? I mean, like we say in law, res ipsa loquitur, the thing speaks for itself.
Okay, let's take a few calls because we're running out of time. 0817 923 0003 0817 923 0003. You can also call 0817 923 0007 on Facebook. What of when Obasanjo appointed late Bola Ige, who was member of default AD then as AGF? This is Tunji Nicholas Adeniran. Finest Ogechi says this presenter is sounding like he's not Nigerian. Oh goodness me, Finest. Pauline Anthony says, I'm in support that everyone should reap where they sow. Goodies has says, Wike isn't God. Power that you say you have is not for this earth. He knows. I can't get there. I say, please leave Sim alone. I think that's the other part of it. More messages. Alex says, good morning. River State, unfortunately, is the news again for the wrong reason. This thing about structure is absurd for anyone to claim ownership of. We'll come to a few things regarding that. Let's just take a few calls. David from Yenagoa, good morning.
Good morning, David West is the name.
Go ahead, straight to the point.
Let me ask your guest, how comfortable is he that his party could...
Oh, goodness, David. You'd have to call back. I wish you asked that question.
Yeah.
Muriel is in Okrika. Muriel, good morning.
Thank you, Ifemi. Good morning.
Yes, go
Muriel, the Okrika State man. Look, Ifemi, there is one thing I love about politicians. They give us a blanket statement and they expect us to explain it. Now, when the former governor talked about a structure, let us do a little breakdown. I think structure is not the people, Ezemonye. You cannot hold people down for a long time. They are only loyal to you when you're relevant. And the former governor is talking about structure because he's still relevant. But trust me, Ezemonye, I think structures are the things he has done. And absolutely, the former governor is right when he says he has infrastructure development. He has built all the flyovers he has built are his structures. Now, even our former, one of our former governors, well, Governor Mechi, also has structures. He employs, he dealt with the human capital development and built and touched education. Those are his structures. We can never forget. The River people will never forget. Now, I want the former governor Wike to allow Governor Phil build his own structures, and I want the people around the former current governor to advise him to leave this fight and begin to build his own structures. These are distractions. The ring road is going to be one of the structures, and he should build more. Now, when you talk, you asked about the leadership in the APC. For me, I think the hierarchy member, the most hierarchy member, should be the leader of a party. Now, look at the members in the APC. One of them holds a position as bigger than Tony Okocha's position. For now, he is the highest. But you see that the ministerial position has been given to the former governor. So, do they want to say the former governor, Wike, is their leader? Because the hierarchy member should be the leader of the party.
All right, Miriam. Okay, thank you. Temple is in Romo Masi. Temple,
good morning. Miriam spoke like an engineer. He said structure is those things.
We'll get that reaction. We're already running out of time. So, Temple, good morning.
Good morning, the very distinguished Chieftain, and right.
Very fine, thank you. Quickly, Temple, go on.
Yes, so I've been keeping it. I've been listening. In as much as I distinguish that Temple Okere is concerned, whether we like it or not, we know what constitutes a leader within the confines of a party. But the issue is that here, as far as the APC is concerned in River State, they are confused. So talking about who is their leader or who is not their leader will put them into more confusion. But when we talk about the political structure, it's nothing but the human network of a politician. Those who are orchestrated to do his or her bidding at any point in time. And whether we like it or not, for a politician to keep himself or herself relevant, structures must be put in place. But it is sad that in time past, I have found out that even those of them who say structure or no structure, it is hard for a politician to finance these structures we are talking about, because these structures are human beings. They are not buildings. They are human beings orchestrated to do his thing in terms of political ambition or whatever.
Temple.
But he will never finance this structures we are talking about with his own political, with his own personal money, but rather with his state money, because if they tend to finance it with their own personal money, they will run down quickly.
All right, Temple, thank you very much. Let's take a few messages so we'll get a response in less than 2 minutes. We're wrapping up. Ezekiel says, it's a very good position with large followership and support. He should continue pushing till he arrives. I always admire his sincere interest in APC. Victor from Egbema, I think is referring to you. In a sane society, issues of political structure should not be talked about in real governance. Regrettably, in our case here, we have a system where rather than power to be in the hands of the electorate, it is in the hands of greedy politicians. This is from Owanaimi Dembo. I can't take all of it. It's too long. What is the Okrika woman talking about structure, I beg? I'm confused. Christian, we'll get my guests respond to it. Olive branch is to work, but almost 99% of the acclaimed professional politicians are playing it with bitterness. I fault your guess. Bola Ige was still in AD when OBJ in PDP appointed him as Minister of Power. The message, this one says, good morning. I greet your guests in the studio. Chima in Ubima says, I want to ask your guests a few questions. Can APC contest in local government elections next year? Secondly, what is the message of hope to APC faithfuls who have been loyal to the system since 2014? We have less than 2 minutes to wrap up. So if you can just summarize.
Miriam spoke, like I said, Miriam spoke like an engineer. You know, when the engineer hears structure, it's the bridges and the roads and all that, and the building. Now that's the jargon understanding of structure for the engineer. For the politician, the understanding of that jargon is the people that are behind you, people who make up your team. That's what the structure is. Yes. So when he says he should, well, Media said he should allow the governor Fubara to also build his own structure, his own, buildings, bridge, and all that. I agree with her to that extent. Beyond that, the governor should also be allowed to have his own people around him. I'm saying this because if I were
Mom's
in
love
his
is pure. It flows, no, she does. Mom's special jollof.
On the morning crossfire, my guest is Ezemonye Ezekiel Amadi. Sir, quickly, let's just get you're trying to make your conclusions before we go interrupted by the commercials. We apologize for that, by the way. So quickly, few seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have time. But what I can tell you is that from where I'm standing, I see interesting times ahead, and at the end of the day, I think it will be all in the interest of our state.
All right, well said. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. Hope to have you many more times in the future.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My name is Ezemonye Andrew. The news at 9 is next. If you missed the conversation, get on Facebook, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. You can watch the whole conversation again and drop your comments. We would also be using some of those as excerpts, so stick to it and follow. My name is Ezemonye Andrew. Once more, time for the news. Hello, Port Harcourt follows afterwards, and Jude is already standing by. Stay tuned.